the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that?
I want to talk about how to make a man obsessed with you.
Okay,
I
I'm
also want to start this by saying I don't think it should be your main goal for 2024.
I do.
I don't think it should be the one thing that we're taking notes on and really putting all of our energies into.
No.
But I guess that if you are in the dating game and you want someone to be into you, then of course you're trolling through all of the TikToks.
Kate, when the sun is out and it's summertime...
You play the Beach Boys.
Well, you do. You play the Beach Boys,
do.
but the feeling of love sort of hangs high in the air. And single people are often on the hunt.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lovely feeling of anticipation, isn't there? Something to be excited about.
Yeah.
That's why people quite like going into the summer months, being footloose and fancy-free.
Don't we all?
A lot of mistakes made over that period as well. Are we talking physical? Are you talking presentation here of men, or are we talking personalities, or what are we talking?
It's a tricky little thing, and it's I'm going to admit I didn't come up with this. There's a woman she's a mindset coach, and it is very controversial because I think it does introduce an imbalance in relationships very early on. It does mean that boundaries are broken, and all of the things that you then spend lots of money on therapy or years to undo. This woman is suggesting you do it to make a man obsessed with you to start with. Some are even calling it toxic. I will let Anna Christina Schmidt explain how to make a man obsessed.
The easiest way to get a man is to be rude and mean. If someone is mean to you, it triggers your insecurities and it makes you feel rejected. Naturally, what your brain is trying to do is to be validated, accepted, and get rid of the rejection. The more the person keeps thinking about this rejection and wanting to be accepted, the more the person will be thinking of you, and he will be wanting to pursue you and chase you.
So,
What a load of crap. What a load of crap, because first impressions are so vital. And if someone treated me like that, I'm not going back.
Yeah, Schmidt for brains.
maybe you have... You might, who are you calling that?
Schmidt.
You might have healthy levels of self-esteem. What she's talking about is that thrill of the chase, which sometimes exists very early on anyway, without having to be mean. The idea of maybe not getting something over the line, or maybe not getting that first date with somebody, it keeps you keen because there's a level of jeopardy.
Yeah, but if you go down the path of chasing somebody and they turn around and tell you to get stuffed as a tactic to make you want more, I just don't think it's going to work.
I think it
the
works.
male ego goes,
No.
You know what? You can get stuffed because there's plenty more fish in the sea.
BJ rejected me numerous times.
There you go.
Again.
And the big one was the Virgin flight, the Virgin Australia party up at the hangar there up in Brisbane. We went up there with a few mates, and I thought, this is it. I asked around, we got back to her that I was going to be there, and there was this one moment I remember, Kate, and I thought, this is it. She's looking over. She had a group of girls around her. She saw me, pointed to me, and all the girls looked over, and then they all started laughing.
Because of the
and
coleslaw?
off.
Because of the coleslaw on your lip?
Yeah, it was, and probably a few other things that I tested positive to at the time. But there was this moment, Kate, where it just absolutely ripped my heart out, to the point that after that, I didn't see her for another 2 years. I took her out of my mind. I said, this is not going to work.
Yeah, because she was mean to you.
You didn't follow up on that evening.
Nope.
But see, I think it can keep people interested. I think that when people... I think sometimes men do it, but I think the being mean thing has even worked for me many years.
You've been doing it for long enough.
Being mean.
Oh, my God.
I think you've perfected it.
Is that right? And who have you been talking to? No, I'm talking about very early on. I think it was my way of... I mean, it's so childish.
Don't say protecting yourself.
And of course, I've grown up and out of this habit. But when I would meet people, the meaner I was to you, the more I liked you. I mean... Psychologists in their cars are having a field day with
laughing.
that. But many years, one of my first kind of big out of school relationships. That's how I think he just became obsessed with me.
That was your defence mechanism, was to be like you.
No, it wasn't a defence mechanism. It was my way of lassoing them into,
treating them badly.
Treating them mean, keeping them keen. This person I met at a party. It was a big kind of function, right?
And what did you do?
And so there were lots of people there, and then there was also a section with just like VIPs. So it had the roped off area or whatever. And I spotted this person, and I thought, oh, he's a bit of all right.
I better tell him to get stuffed.
He's a bit of all right. And I thought, I don't know how to open a conversation, but I do quite like him. And we were passing each other in the corridor where the toilet was at the same time, and I thought, it's not smooth. It doesn't sound smooth, but it's an example.
Jess, drum roll on the pickup line.
Now.
Drum roll on the pickup line. You're outside the bathroom. What did you go with?
I said, I think you might be lost. This is the VIP area.
And what did Richard Wilkins say?
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I just have to cover this story because I'm mad for a double life story. Firstly, because I'm a busy lady, but I do know one thing I'll never be able to fit in is a double life because I just don't have time for it. I am absolutely gobsmacked and in awe of people who can have one family over here
and
have another whole complete. I mean, I hear not so much you, Fitzy, but Whipper, the way you complain about all the things you have to do just to run one family.
Well, you got paid to have a double life, really, didn't you? That was your job, Kate.
Well, yeah. I was going to go down that road, but it was going to get so heavy and deep, and it's very confusing. At times I did feel as though I was living another existence. Am I waking up in my bed in Campbelltown and going to school, or am I changing the sheets in the caravan park today?
I don't know.
Which one was more complicated? That's actually a great question, Fitzy. Throwing it out there. Getting a few economic headwinds in the office.
Well, you know what? I am going to take ownership of that question and follow up with an answer.
Tofu. You've taken the tofu option.
Take ownership, follow up.
Well, let's be honest. I think Sally Fletcher's life was incredibly complicated when you're fighting
transient
off cancers and love interests and
stabbed on the road,
mudslides.
Yes.
I think I got shot in the diner one day.
You did.
Well, that's sorry about that. I was just a bit angry about that.
No, luckily Elsa was there. Anyway, this guy, he's been living a double life, and it all came undone when he came home from a work trip. He had to travel a lot for work. He was so tired, he didn't unpack his suitcase. So his wife of 5 years thought, I'm going to do a really nice deed here. I'll take his washing out. I'll unpack the suitcase. She's unpacked the suitcase, and there's a photo of a woman, and then a photo of an 18-month-old baby. Now, she thought that maybe the suitcases had been swapped
I've got the wrong
over,
bag here.
but it had his undies in it, so it must have been his.
Damn it.
And she confronted him, and head in hands, he was in tears, saying, "I knew you'd find out one day." He'd had an affair with a woman, I'm guessing, a couple of years ago, which had resulted in the 18-month-old child, and she's thinking, "Oh, okay, he has another family." Living in one of these countries he has to travel to for work. This is just in Perth, This family's living about 5 k's down the road.
Oh,
so
my God.
When he leaves to go, he's just driving, 10 minutes away and hanging out with the second family. This woman, the wife, they already had 2 children. They'd spent 5-6 years together already.
I wonder why.
13, 2014, getting involved. I'd love to hear from the lengths that they went to lead to a double life.
Well, a double life, or actually what I'd like to know is maybe what you found in the suitcase that brought it all undone when they've come home.
Another great topic. Because you wonder, what an idiot for putting a photo, unless the other wife slipped it into the suitcase and he didn't know. Who packs a photo of your second family inside your suitcase? Am I right, guys? You're not wrong, Whip. That is a really, really bad
I think
move.
the question should be who leads a double life in the
That's what
first
I
place,
mean.
and then
That's what I mean,
secondly,
yeah.
yes, if you decide to do that, who pops the photo in?
It's the stress of work, first of all, and then having to come home to the family. When you've got two on the go, he'd have a favourite one as well. That's the thing.
Yeah. Thursday nights would be his favourite.
There would be one family where he would go, okay,
here we go.
hard yards today. I'm doing overtime with this family.
Need to please the grumpy one again.
Is that how it works?
Oh, I got the grumpy one
Well,
over
maybe
here.
you are the grumpy one. If you're throwing the word grumpy out to
Hey,
all
I'm
of
not
the other
suggesting
people
you're the
around.
grumpy one.
I'm certainly not grumpy. You haven't seen grumpy. You think this is grumpy?
I'm like, no, I'm just not. You don't need to defend the grumpy one. Oh, my God.
The Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I've got a big story here about relationships for you. It's a bit of a list. If you want to keep your relationship on track, grab a biro, guys.
I mean, they all go off track every now and then, don't they?
Yeah,
Do
they
they?
do. And I mean, but I think there are some pretty standard do's and don'ts.
That's my biro.
Oh, that's your biro.
What did you think he was doing?
I didn't know. I was like, why is he
He's
playing
ready.
with the pen? And I was like, oh, okay. I've instructed somebody to get a biro. That's a watch.
That's a Rolex.
Okay.
Expensive watch, and I didn't ask you to do
Okay,
that.
pens ready.
Now, look, if you have arguments within a relationship, if you can do it well, that doesn't mean you have an unhealthy relationship. It's actually very good. Disagreements are normal. And in fact, according to a study, couples who argue effectively are 10 times more likely to have a happy relationship in the long term.
Is that because you think once we've had an argument, if we can get through that, well, we're going to get through them? You know, we don't fall out over it.
Well,
It's just
and I
something we
think
have
if
to
you
get
can
through.
argue effectively, I don't
Yeah.
think that means, you have a big blow up and then you kind of kiss and make up and that's the yo-yo
Actually-
of an unhealthy relationship.
Nick Cave wrote about this. He's got a great website called the Red Right Hand Files. Tommy, you've been on that before, haven't you?
it's great site.
No, and someone was asking about a relationship, even if it's a friendship or a marriage, when it comes to arguing. And he wrote this beautiful answer.
Yeah.
Our truest and deepest relationships allow us the freedom to voice an opinion without fear of it being detrimental to the partnership. And he said it's actually good. You want someone to challenge you. You don't want someone that just agrees with you all the time.
And that you're still lovable even when you're honest.
Well, it doesn't need to be confrontation. I think that's the important point.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. I'll run through this. I mean, and if you're saying these things, maybe have a think about it. We're going to start with you're overreacting.
Oh, yeah, I'll do a bit of that.
I'm not even going to explain that one. We know that's not a good one to go in with. Guns
Have you
blazing.
ever overreacted? or
No.
anything? Nah.
No.
Not me.
This one. You care about something or someone more than me. I mean, that's somebody feeling absolutely neglected and maybe left out. But rather than saying it like that, rather than saying you care about them more than me, just say, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah,
Maybe-
okay,
The
gotcha.
footy season starts soon.
Yeah, look over here for a little bit. You never listen. I don't think you were meant to start any sentence with the word you, are you?
You never listen.
You've got to say I. I find it hard to talk to you. 'cause
BJ
you don't
says to
listen.
me that she has to pick times. She knows my character enough now that you have to pick times
What for listening is.
for listening.
Just talking to you in general.
Ryan, are those ears painted on?
No, she would, if there's something important that she needs to go maybe interstate, or if she has to do something or go away, she goes, I know, I have to pick my time.
Oh, to get it across the line.
Can we try and
Yeah.
book you from 6 to 9 each day? Is that, you reckon we could get you to
That's
listen
his
then?
worst time.
Not
it's
listening,
turned
mate.
out.
Not listening.
Okay, that's not true. You're being ridiculous.
You're being
that's-
ridiculous.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. This is just like before when you did such and such.
Oh, you drag up something from the past.
Yeah, but I mean, habits do form, don't they? And history says you're doing this because you've done it before and there's nothing changing.
But do you ever
I don't know
hang? Do
how
you
you
ever hang
tackle
on to
that.
anything from the past and bring it up? Would you ever?
Do
sort
I
of,
ruminate?
yeah. Would it let you? Would you be scarred and then bring it up?
Well, Kate documents it. She's got in her notes on her phone. She'll write down everything that we've
It's an
said over the
exercise
years.
book.
Yeah. Steve left towel on floor.
It's old school.
23rd of the
Steve's my
4th.
dad's
Yes,
name.
on February 16, 2018.
I
you
do
said
think,
this.
though,
2:08 in the afternoon.
don't joke about it. It's very important to document things sometimes, especially when somebody's trying to gaslight you,
Do you know what?
and ruin your life.
Kate, I know what you mean, and I've been in arguments with my wife where I've thought, I wish there was a microphone in here recording right
You
now.
don't, but you say that,
Because
and
I
that's
would
something else you
love
shouldn't
to be
say.
able to play back what you just said, so it can make sense. Because you're losing your mind.
No, because you do start to think you're losing your mind. So sometimes just a little note every now and then is important. Full stop. Moving on.
Scrapbook. How big's the book? She's written a thesis.
Oh, now you're being ridiculous, Kate.
Kate Relationships, Volume 1.
I told you so. Okay, I hate that one.
I told you so. Do you know what I've been doing a little bit of? Instead of saying sorry, right, to the person,
You said it's your fault?
no, I say, sorry, I'm sorry it made you feel like that.
Yeah, well,
that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, but also it's important
Take
to be
ownership of
able
your
to
own
say
reaction.
that.
Yeah.
But you have to sometimes hand people's feelings back to them.
Yep.
I'm going to stay on my side of the street, and you stay on
Yeah,
yours.
you deal with that because I can't help you from here.
Oh God, I'm practically Maggie Dent.
Not really. She doesn't make it personal.
No, she's talking about the children. They're much easier to deal with. You're such an name calling. So you're such a insert insulting name here. Do not name call, and do not name call when you like from a very young age.
Here's what I was told off for the other day when I went, "You are a psycho." How does psycho go?
Yeah,
Well, psycho bad,
I mean,
is it?
I think with our
Well, that's
the
not
way
bad,
that we
is it?
talk, we say psycho in an endearing way.
Yeah, thank you, Fitz.
No,
That's what we
mate.
do. You're such a cute psycho.
Okay, why
such a
can't
funny
you be
psycho.
more like such and such? Don't ever do that. Don't ever compare them to somebody else.
Yeah.
And for the final one, which could be the nail in the coffin, is if you don't do this. So whatever you insert there, if you don't do this, I'll leave you.
If you're not back by
What are
10
you
o'clock tonight.
What are you inserting?
No, you're not inserting. It's a blank space to put on. You're not.
Maybe it's the lack of insert.
If you don't do this,
You don't insert this. You're out, mate.
Fitz in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.